Imagine this. You're sitting in class, when suddenly something in your mind clicks and you get a good idea. As the conversation unfolds, you wait for the perfect moment to share your thought. But when the opportunity arises and all eyes turn to you, suddenly you stumble over your words and struggle to convey your idea as clearly as it appeared in your mind. Sound familiar? In this guide, you will learn why this frustrating disconnect between our thoughts and our ability to express them effectively happens, and how you can start to articulate like you think. First, I am going to explain to you the neuroscientific root of the problem. Listening carefully here is also going to raise your general level of education. When we have an idea or thought, it originates in regions associated with creativity, problem-solving, and memory retrieval, which are collectively known as the default mode network. However, translating these ideas into coherent speech requires the activation of additional brain areas involved in language production, such as Broca's area and Wernicke's area. The problem arises when there is a disconnect or delay between the activation of the DMN and the engagement of language production areas. Now, the good news is that communication is a skill and that there are ways to effectively improve that skill. First, a practice which will make your communication unrecognizable is writing, and more specifically, journaling. This is so beneficial for your articulation because when you write or journal, you engage in the process of organizing your thoughts into coherent sentences and paragraphs. Through this repeated practice, neural pathways associated with language production strengthen, which will naturally help you to speak more articulate. I have a whole video where I explain in detail how to journal, so that is something you can check out later. If you feel like your mind speeds up and you get stressed when you want to say something, particularly in front of a group of people, then calming your mind will be what skyrockets your articulation. Now, it is pretty obvious that a calm mind helps you to speak clearly and effectively, but how do you actually transition to this relaxed state when you need to? The fastest, scientifically proven way to physiologically reduce your levels of stress is through an exercise called physiological sigh. It's incredibly simple and can be done whenever and wherever you need it. And the best part is, it only takes a few seconds. Here's how it works. Inhale deeply through your nose, filling your lungs as much as you can. Immediately follow with a sharp second inhale to further expand your lungs. Then exhale slowly through your mouth. Try it out right now. The physiological sigh induces a sense of calmness, primarily because the duration of exhalation exceeds that of inhalation. When you exhale, your diaphragm moves up, exerting pressure on the heart and reducing its volume. This reduction leads to an increase in blood flow velocity, which stimulates the nervous system to send signals that decelerate heart rate. For even greater benefits, try performing cyclic sighing for 5 minutes. This extended practice not only reduces stress during the session, but also provides stress reduction benefits for the entire 24-hour cycle. Moreover, reading is one of those things which basically improve most aspects of yourself, and unsurprisingly, articulation is no exception. Interestingly, when we read silently, our brains simulate the process of speaking the words internally. Studies using neuroimaging techniques like functional magnetic resonance imaging have revealed that the same areas of the brain responsible for producing speech, including the motor cortex and the articulatory regions, are activated during silent reading. This involves the subconscious movement of the muscles associated with speech production, albeit at a minimal level that does not result in audible speech. Also, as we read written words, our visual cortex decodes the stimuli and sends signals to areas of the brain, such as Broca's area and Wernicke's area we talked about earlier. Simultaneously, the default mode network becomes active. This means that when you read, you engage the same neural circuits responsible for verbal expression, which strengthens your ability to articulate thoughts and ideas. Now I want you to listen to this short clip of Ayanokoji speaking.
You did, actually. You kept talking about how you gave us the ultimate education. So naturally, I took an interest in the worldly society that you rejected, to see it for myself.
Did you notice that he is speaking quite slow? This is something you should definitely adopt. On one hand, slower speech conveys a sense of confidence and authority, and on the other hand, a slower speech rate enables better synchronization between auditory and motor processes in the brain. This synchronization is important for adjusting your speech in real time to maintain clarity and coherence. Being conscious of the rate of your speech is probably the tool which will transform your articulation abilities the most. However, remember that it's crucial to remain mindful of the context. Speaking unnaturally slow is just as bad as speaking too fast. For most, aiming to reduce their pace by about 20% of their current rate of speech should be perfect. The best way to help you establish this slower pace is to record yourself while you speak about a random topic for a minute or more. For example, you could talk about what you did yesterday. It doesn't matter if you did nothing of interest. If you just make a commitment to yourself to do this 5 days a week, then I promise you that even in 1 month, you will look back and be astonished by how much you improved.